Trust me, guys, if I were an alcoholic, this would probably be filled with something much harder. But then again, at the same time, this movie had a humongous products placement for this bad boy, so don't tell me to drink this twice. Madam Web is the latest entry into the Sony Marvel universe, the same spot that brought you both really crappy Venom movies. They brought you Morbius a couple of years ago, and this also has the same writing team behind Morbius, the same writing team that also gave you Gods of Egypt, The Last Witch Hunter. Like, why do we give this movie the benefit of the doubt? So we follow Cassandra Webb, played here by Dakota Johnson. She's a New York City paramedic who starts to show signs of clairvoyance. Forced to confront revelations about her past or something like that, she must protect 3 young women from a mysterious adversary who wants them dead. This mysterious adversary dons a black and red Spider-Man suit, and it pretty much sounds like exactly what it is. There are some cool ideas in this movie. There's some cool ideas about our hero being able to look into the future and telegraph what's going to happen. There's some cool ideas about an evil Spider-Man coming in, basically like a Terminator, to kill the John Connor, if you will. Like, guys, I'm really trying to find something positive to say about Madam Web. Dakota Johnson is an actress who I've been pulling for, in all honesty. 50 Shades, that whole trilogy, I mean, that was a huge shackle to her career. But I think ever since that trilogy ended, she's done pretty well for herself in picking some projects. One that comes to mind is The Peanut Butter Falcon. She was excellent in that movie, let alone that being a great movie. But now with her involvement in this, like, it just feels like she's right back to square one. Her career seems to be one of redemption. And then when it feels like she's right over the hump and actually redeeming herself and her reputation as an actress, she's involved in another movie like this one. Like, you have talented people in here. There's Sydney Sweeney, who's incredibly bored throughout this. Isabela Merced and Celeste O'Connor definitely are throwing their all into things. And Adam Scott definitely has some quippy moments in there, and his character is the only one with any relation to the actual Spider-Man. Which leads me to my first big issue, is this script, obviously. I mean, with these writers involved, like, this team is proving themselves to be a national embarrassment, and adding this onto their belt of trash movies like Gods of Egypt and Morbius, Madam Web is just another one of those scripts that takes itself far too seriously for its own good. And about everything it tries to do is just so god-awful in every way. It doesn't really feel like there's a cohesive beginning, middle, and end. Yes, these characters feel like they have some sort of backstory. Yes, about an hour and 15 minutes into this movie, our villain finally gets an objective reveal. But shouldn't we know what the objectives are of our main players, like, right from the get-go? Because I'm sitting here right now, and I am still trying to figure out whatever our main character's objective actually was. Like, it really was not made clear at all. And on top of that, this main character was written to be so unlikable. And I know this isn't on Dakota Johnson at all, because she's a very likable actress, and she's proven herself to be very charming in the past. But she is written to do the most bastardly things, especially to these young teenagers. I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, but it's like, do you really care about these kids if you're just gonna leave them in these situations? Like, you can see into the future. Can't you telegraph where these kids should actually be instead of just leaving them in godforsaken middle of nowhere? Oh god, this movie is annoying the hell out of me, guys. I need another drink. Yeah, blatant product placement for Pepsi in this movie as well. Because it's set in 2003, of course you're gonna have, like, Pepsi billboards, you're gonna have American Idol promotions everywhere. A bunch of your soundtrack choices definitely feel like 2003. And you have a whole opening sequence where an ambulance drives by a fucking Blockbuster. Now, it was cool and all when Captain Marvel did that, but I'm just sitting here looking at this movie and I'm like, you're trying to be hip here. You're, like, blatantly trying to tug at my heartstrings with nostalgia here, because you know how much I love Blockbuster. Loved Blockbuster. Past tense. I'm sorry. I'm still bitter about the bankruptcy. But writing in this movie, god-awful. The direction is, like, bottom tier bad. Like, the camera work in this movie is among the worst I've ever seen in my life. Like, there are shots where it legit feels like the director is just trying to be flashy and not necessarily try to tell a story with some of these shots that they're taking. Yes, the best directors of the best are innovative in their cinematography, but it at least also looks beautiful. There was a trailer for Dune Part 2, which I will be reviewing in a few weeks, by the way. And that movie just looks so freaking beautiful compared to this. It is night and day. Like, this movie to me just feels like it is way too big for its britches. I don't exactly know how much money this movie was worth. Actually, I have it right here. Hold on. $80 million? Good lord, how does the CGI look so terrible? Like, a lot of the futuristic looking sequences where she's actually weaving, like, her future selves in between different fight sequences, like, this is a cool idea. And the action's, oh my god, the action, don't even get me started, guys. Like, good god. For a superhero movie, the action was way too few and far between, and when you do get action, it is kept relatively short. Oh god, and it's probably, oh man. Guys, it probably gives you the worst payoff to a final battle ever, where it's like, okay, you want to be satisfied with how this movie ends, but especially seeing how one of these characters is defeated, I just could not help but laugh. Me and my brother were the only ones in the theater, and that's honestly what kind of redeemed this whole experience for me. We could just yell at the movie and just sit there and judge the stupid decisions that these scripts and these characters are making. Like, I legit never want to watch Madam Web ever again. I think this is one of the very worst comic book movies I've ever seen in my life. I think it sits right in that same category as your Fant 4 stick, taking itself way too seriously. And yes, it does sit in the same category as Morbius, and it. I would throw Venom Let There Be Carnage in there too. I hated that movie. But I feel like Morbius, we all walked into that theater knowing it was going to be bad. Like, I know some people had some sliver of hope that Madam Web could at least be decent. I feel like we should have seen the writing on the wall and we should have known better. Because considering who's involved and the stranglehold that they have on some of these characters that are integral to Spider-Man lore, like, this is going to be one of the most hatred-inducing movies of 2024. I thought it was absolutely abysmally produced. It was horribly put together. I think all the actors and the talent involved in this movie deserve so much better, and I'm rooting so hard for them to get out of this rut. And you know that whole little sequence in the trailer where you see these guys go to a 4-star diner? Yeah, that's in the movie as well. And that is as close to 4 stars as this movie is ever going to get. I'm going to give Madam Web an F. Everything you've heard about this movie up to this point from my fellow colleagues and critics alike, yeah, it's all well-deserved. Yeah, there are certainly better things you could be doing with your money. Go donate it to a local charity. Go take your significant other out to a nice dinner somewhere. Don't go spend it on Madam Web, I'm telling you. They want you to go spend your money on it so that Sony Marvel can actually continue making these. But we don't want any more, do we? Just like we don't want any more Morbius movies. I don't want to hear anybody down in the comments say it's Morbin time. We're done with that. But let me know what you think of Madam Web down in the comments, and let me know if this video is as cathartic for you as it was for me. If you've stumbled upon this channel for the first time, do consider subscribing today and tap on that thumbs up as well. Both those things would be a huge help. If you want to join a great community of film lovers and entertainment lovers alike, you guys have come to the right place, and y'all are invited to join us. Y'all are the best. Look out for more videos very soon, hopefully talking about lots better movies than Madam Web down the line. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.